Hey guys! Alright, so this is part 2 of our character traits video. Alright, so character traits can be inferred based on 4 things. First thing, feelings. Second thing, action. Third thing, dialogue. Fourth thing, thoughts. And that helps me as a reader to remember by doing those hand movements. All right. So the author won't tell us the character trait of a character. We have to read between the lines. We need to look at these different feelings that the character's feeling and the actions of the character, the dialogue, what the character is saying to itself sometimes, right? Like internal dialogue or even to others. Okay. And then thoughts, like what are they thinking? So feelings throughout the story, right? It's not just one little period in time. If a character consistently feels a certain way, it can sometimes point to a noticeable character trait. So, for example, if a character feels jealousy toward other characters at multiple points throughout the book, jealous can be named as a character trait for that character. If a character is only feeling jealous for one little period of time, you would not use jealous as a character trait. So Matt was scared to walk through the cemetery a few minutes ago, and now he's frightened by a dog growling. A character trait I can infer is. So I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to think to myself, what are some feelings that we're seeing here that the author has given us? So I see that Matt is scared, right? And that he's also frightened. So I want you to stop for a moment and pause the video and think what would be a character trait that would describe Matt in this story. So go ahead and pause the video. If you said that Matt was fearful, you're correct. Fearful could also have other words that mean the same, right? So you could say that Matt's scared, right? He's frightened. Those also would work, okay? All right, another one we could look at is the actions of the character. So a character consistently acts a certain way, it can point to a noticeable character trait. So throughout the story, if a character's acting a certain way, then that would help us. So Cassie's grandparents gave her money for her birthday. Cassie decided that the families at the crisis center needed food more than she needed a new toy. So she donated her money to the crisis shelter. A character trait I can infer is. So let's stop for a second. Look at the actions of Cassie. So here we have Cassie, and she was given money, right? She decided that money would be better off for the families that were at the crisis center. So I want you to think for a second. What would be a character trait that would describe Cassie based on those actions? So you can go ahead and pause and unpause when you have an answer. You could describe Cassie as generous. Generous is a character trait that would describe Cassie. Dialogue, right? Dialogue refers to the thing the character says. You're going to watch for patterns in what the character says to others, okay? For example, all right, even though Madeline was already talking, Sadie interrupted her to tell her classmates the story of what happened to her over the weekend. Later, she told Bree that her sweater looked old and ugly. A character trait I can infer is. So we're looking at the character trait of Sadie. So here we have Sadie. She interrupts others and she tells others that their clothes look terrible or old and ugly. So I want you to think for a moment, what would, based on the dialogue, the things that she's saying, and right, would you use to describe Sadie? So go ahead and pause and unpause when you have an answer. A character trait that would describe Sadie is that she is rude, right? People that interrupt others while they're speaking are rude and that are putting other people down, you would consider them to be rude. Thoughts. What's the character thinking? Watch for patterns in what the character thinks. Brian decided that he wanted to earn money during his summer vacation. He determined that he could mow 4 lawns a day. He hung a poster in his neighborhood, and soon his phone was ringing non-stop. A character trait I can infer is. All right, so here we have Brian, and he